All right, welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Rich Walsh. Paul Zeise is joining me remotely from the 93.7, the fan cam, and we're having a good discussion about the Pirates. By the way, before we let's go out to the phone lines. We got Alex in Mount Lebanon, who might be the only person in Pittsburgh other than me that has bucko fever.
Yeah, I do have bucko fever. I'd say that the pitcher, Kyle Ponce, had a great performance today.
Yeah, he did. Paul, I wanted to bring up Ponce a little bit. It's his first major league start. He goes, 5 2/3, 5 hits, a couple strikeouts. That's what they needed. I mean, you're not going to get this every night from this guy, but I heard a lot of good things from him. I know they were encouraged with this guy, and when I was at spring training, there was some optimism around him. So, that's what I would do right now. And I don't understand. Cherington said it a couple weeks ago. Bring up Key Brian Hayes. You brought up Will Clark. Will Craig. Let's play these guys. I want to see what they have. Just bring up all the young guys. Period.
If I was Ben Cherington, I'd call every contender and see if they needed a starting pitcher and try to trade him right now for something.
That's not a bad thing, and this just leads us to this tweet that we just got.
His value will never be higher, right? I mean,
You're right.
That's the thing. I mean, trade him. I've heard, Trevor Williams, people were looking at trade him. Chad Cole, trade him. I mean, what are we really doing here with these guys if you really take a look at it? This team's not going to be good for, another 3 years, at least 2 or 3 years? So you might as well go get all the prospects you can get, and anybody that's willing to give you anything for any of your guys, do it.
I set the over/under a couple nights ago on the right here on this phone on this show. That I think it's going to be if I set it at 5 years, the over/under for another winning record. Which side would you be on?
5?
Yeah, 5.
I think if it's 5, then it's a colossal failure. I would say that by year, let's throw this year out because this is ridiculous what's going on. Let's say next year is year 1. I would say year 2, if you're not getting to a point in year 2 where you're winning in the upper 70s, and in year 3 have a real chance to go 82, or more, then I would say that it's probably a problem.
All right, Brian Moyer just sent us a tweet. He said, the Pirates are listening on Brian Reynolds. If Cherington doesn't get a king's ransom for this young star, do not let him go. Controllable through 2024. Great defense, especially his arm. Solid hitter. Build a championship team around him. The problem with saying you're going to build a championship team around him, you got to pay these guys, him and Josh Bell. I'd love to see those guys both stay. I think Bell's the face of this franchise right now, but I don't know if they can pay either one of these guys, and the only way you're going to get better is if you trade guys like that to get prospects back in to try to rebuild this team.
Well, in 2024, think about what I just said, Richie.
Yeah.
2 years from now, they're probably not going to be a contender. Well, 2 years from now, you're talking about now you got to think about trading Brian Reynolds because if he is who they think he is, he's going to be coming up on free agency, and then they don't want to lose a guy like that for nothing, and they're not going to be able to sign him, so they'll trade him.
All right, let's go out to Joanne at Squirrel Hill. How you doing, Joanne?
Hi, Ricky. Hi, Paul. How are you?
Good. Thanks for calling.
I always watch your show, Ricky, but I disagree with you about Josh Bell. I was watching the game with my grandkids, and my grandson, he used to be a big Josh Bell fan, and he said this evening that he stinks. He hasn't done nothing since those couple months last year, and I don't think he should get a contract from anyone, and I think he's playing himself out of multi-million dollars. I just want to see what y'all think.
Hey, thanks a lot, Joanne. I appreciate you calling and watching every night. I still think there's something there, Paul. I know he's struggled at times this year and had a few good months last year. He had that record-setting half of the season the year before. I still think you'll be able to see a good Josh Bell. He can hit from both sides of the plate, a lot of power. He's not going to hit with average. He's still learning a position at first base, still tweaking some things over there, and I think that takes away from him being a little more comfortable at the plate.
Is Josh Bell the next Pedro Alvarez?
I would say
that's what you need to ask yourself.
I would say
no. Guy with a little bit of power who's not a good fielder.
Yeah, but Pedro Alvarez lost his mind there the last couple years. He couldn't throw, and then he lost his bat. He just lost everything.
Well, but that's the
I don't think
again,
that's going to
if you
happen
watch-
with Josh Bell.
I don't either, because I think, but my point is, all he is a guy that hits home runs right now. Her grandson is right. If you look at his numbers after, he went crazy in May last year, from May 1st on till now, look at his numbers. I mean, it's, this is not a small sample size.
But I still think there's enough evidence out there that you would get a lot for the guy. Do you not agree?
Well, you better trade him You better trade him in a couple of days then. Because I think the more he plays, you're probably going to get less for him.
All right, let's go out to Sparky. How you doing, Sparky, out in Pittsburgh? What's up, buddy?
Hey, I'm glad to be able to make my comment here.
Go ahead.
Actually, pertaining to the thought of the Pirates may be good in 3 to 5 years, I'm going to go back. I'm going to use the relevance of Tampa Bay Buccaneers, which Dungy built the team up. And, yeah, they were a Super Bowl winner when Gruden took over. And I'll also go to the Tampa Bay Lightning, where they're the worst team in hockey. And they were also Stanley Cup playoff champions a year later. Mm-hmm. That, I know it's beyond our control, and then some, that, well, in my opinion, the Pirates need new owners that actually will step
Sparky,
up
I think
like
that's
a
everyone's
Marvin Wood
opinion.
in hockey.
I think that's
that
everyone's
actually care
opinion.
about the team and that make differences.
Thanks a lot. I mean, I would say that everyone knows or thinks that the Pirates need new ownership. I mean, these guys' hands are tied. Ben Cherington, you can't do much. He's got to be creative. He's got to figure out ways how to get guys in here that are undervalued, and he's got to win every trade. That's what this guy has to do in order for the Pirates to compete in three years. And I think that's the low side. I think it's more like 5.
Right. Well, the other thing is those two teams that he mentioned there play in leagues that have salary caps. So it's a little different.
Yeah, it's a lot different, too. Josiah out in San Antonio. What's up, buddy? How you doing?
Doing all right in yourself. Hey, Paul. 2 quick comments.
Hello.
I hope the Steelers are right on Chase Claypool, because I heard Ike Taylor the other day saying that he's similar to LeBron James. Now, I think that's a stretch when they could have drafted J.K. Dobbins. And secondly, why won't the Steelers take a gamble on Earl Thomas? You could get him for little or nothing. And if the guy starts mouthing off to Tomlin or acting up, you could just release him. I mean, take the shot, because Terrell Edmonds is definitely not it.
Josiah, from what I understand and talking to people within the organization, they're still high on Terrell Edmonds. They still really like this guy. As for Earl Thomas, I don't think they want to do anything to the chemistry of this team, so I think it would be a bad fit. As for Chase Claypool, I was big on the J.K. Dobbins. I wanted them to draft him. He was there. I thought for sure they were going to do it. But, Chase Claypool, every person that we've talked to, Ben Roethlisberger, Mike Tomlin, Joe Hayden, Juju, all these guys rave about this guy, and you never hear veterans or coaches even speak highly about rookies ever on this team. And I've been watching them at practice. This guy, he had a couple drops, easy balls that he should have caught, but he makes unbelievable catches. He's fast, and he can beat guys downfield. They need a guy like this, especially in the red zone. Mismatch problem.
I think the big thing is, everything I've read about him, everything I've heard people say about him, like you said, they've been really heaping a lot of praise on him, that he's ready to go and that he's already, basically a veteran, basically, in the way that he plays.
Yeah, the one thing Ben said today on the call was that, he said he would go over and talk to him. Hey, do you understand? He's like, I got it. Chase Claypool. So I'm anxious to see what this guy can do after all these guys have been talking him up. All right, we got to go to our Tri-State Office Furniture tweet of the day. And this is from your colleague over at the Post-Gazette, also a friend of ours on this program, Jason Mackey. And the Pirates announced this today, that they're having an alternate site game with guys from the alternate site at PNC Park. So Pirates announced their alternate site guys will be playing a game at PNC Park tomorrow. So I don't know if you're going. I can't go, Paul. I'm off tomorrow. But, maybe that's your chance to see Ke'Bryan Hayes play at PNC Park. Hey, we got to take a break. Back with more of your phone calls. Some of your tweets coming up next. Stay right there.